What are we living in the golden age of? Photography. Now almost everyone has a camera, usually in their phone. And they are so simple to use, it's easy to take decent photos. It used to be a camera was a dedicated device you had to learn how to use properly and have the film developed by someone, or yourself if you had a darkroom and knowledge. And the photos you could take was limited by the film roll. Use up a 48 exposure roll? You'll have to stop and put in a new roll. Using ISO 200 film, but you want to take low light photos? You'll have to stop, remove the 200 roll, and put in an ISO 400 or higher roll. Disabled person here. We live in a golden age of accessibility tools based on technological advancements. Just take the car industry as an example. The amount of aftermarket accessibility accessories that were invented in the past 10 years alone have made driving accessible to many people with disabilities. Combustion engines, they are at their most efficient, brought on by the push towards hybrids and electric, and the rising cost of fuel. Factory-delivered 4-cylinder, 2-liter engines are over 400 horsepower now, with a warranty, and they still do 40 miles per gallon. So I think we're in the golden age of the combustion engine, which will be slow and drawn out, giving way to the new age of electronic, hybrid, and perhaps even hydrogen-powered vehicles. Guitar gear. It's better and more affordable than it's ever been. You can find amazing guitars for $500. There are more pedals than you can shake a stick at, and they make every sound you can imagine. If you have ever wanted to play guitar, now is the time. Not surprisingly, many people picked up guitar during lockdown, and it's having a bit of a resurgence. The golden age of willful ignorance. We have the collective knowledge of humanity available to us in our pockets, and it honestly feels like people are dumber because of it. Why remember anything when you can simply Google it? Cheap flights. And be happy. Look it up. Historically, we pay so much less adjusted for inflation and have the ability to fly anywhere for so much less. Gas goes up. Demand goes up. Holiday weekends are expensive. But in the end, Joe can fly, average, coast to coast for $500 vs $10K in 1960. Computer/internet age. When I was a kid, the Commodore 64 came out with 64,000 bytes of memory. You could load games at home. The good ones took multiple floppy disks. Now you can ask your phone any question, have an instant map to any location, translate any language, or sit all day watching videos at home. Kids born now will grow up never knowing a computer that could not understand your speech and give instant access to anything. This is the golden age of cell phone technology/information access. At no other time in the history of humanity have so many people had access to quite literally the answer to virtually any question. Great philosophers used to travel continents to find the answers to their questions, and the overwhelming majority of us can now find those answers in our pockets. The amount of well-crafted superhero movies, Marvel, is something unfathomable for people who grew up in the 80s/90s. To think that something so nerdy would ever appeal to a very, very mainstream audience is incredible. Learning. We literally have the results of the combined efforts of all of humanity's quest for knowledge at our fingertips. The fact that we're not even trying to learn stuff using the internet absolutely baffles me. I'm not perfect and waste tons of time on stupid stuff too, but the vast majority of people don't even want to learn. I'm simply unable to comprehend that. The golden age of boring clothes. Whatever happened to some of the cool cultural cloths people used to wear, like kilts and kimonos and stuff? We don't even wear boring cookie cutter suits anymore, and those were way more interesting than what we wear now. Scams and extortion. Never before has it been so easy to scam so many with so little effort. Same for ransomware and extortion. Billionaires getting away with financial crimes with impunity. Bots. They're everywhere. Antibiotics that work. Conspiracy theories. Thoughts and prayers. Golden age of memes is the only answer. Information. It's all there. The good, bad, and ugly. Pollution. Astronomy. Not just James Webb either, there are several planned telescopes in the works that will be incredible. Information and connectivity. Information, although speaking to the average person you wouldn't know it. Information, I'm sure this has been said and lost in the cacophony of answers on this sub, but it's worth repeating. Never has so much information about meaningful and meaningless topics been available. Want to learn about theoretical physics and how it applies to fluid dynamics? Google. Want to find out where your attractive and friendly neighbor's birthmark is? Instagram. Thirsty? Find your favorite microbrew kombucha at a retailer near you with their website. Need like-minded people to echo held opinions? Here we are. What an amazing, frightening, empowering, and humbling time to be alive. Ads and trash. Information is literally at our fingertips. You can know anything at any time from anywhere. Microplastics. Confirmation bias. No matter how dumb an opinion is, you can find a place in the internet where other people will share it and pile up on it. Cannabis, 1000%. Microplastics and misinformation. Willful ignorance. Misinformation. I think that's what I read on BuzzFeed, anyway. Exploitation of disinformation. Solipsism. Amogus. Stupidity. Propaganda. Role-playing games. This is truly the golden age of game design. The entire art form has been exploding for a decade. Mental health problems. Final Fantasy XIV, I'm a nerd. Victimhood. Ignorance. Golden age of narcissists. Dungeons and Dragons. I've been playing since the 80s and it's never been easier to find games, resources and entertainment based around my favorite hobby, and more just keeps coming. Technology has made it easier to play over the internet than ever and regular games abound. Unfortunately, we find ourselves in the golden age of gun violence and losing human rights. Golden age of societal collapse. Golden age of fraud. Con men. Political divisiveness. We'll likely see nations tear themselves apart in our lifetime. Golden era for mental illness like anxiety and depression. Karens. The golden age of political manipulation has never ever tarnished. Robber barons and the human equivalent, 6 dragons. Depression, anxiety, and overthinking. Lies. Most things. Life is pretty peak now, even though it is not obvious that climate change effects are only beginning and scientific progress is sky high. Entertainment politics. Politicians who say and do outrageous things simply for exposure. Golden age of internet, it's becoming worse and worse every day now. Antibiotics. Information. Within seconds we can find out something everyone else knows or will know. We are living in the golden age of misinformation. Anime. More than half of all anime was produced after 2010. I'd say we've been living in the final stages of the golden age of TV when Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Dexter, The Walking Dead were all on and all at their peak roughly the same time. TV wasn't going to get better. Almost everything. People tend to forget that living amounted to plague and suffering for a majority of human history. Obviously, modern civilization has its own problems, but I tend to think that existential crisis is better than sickness, war, and poverty. Outrage. Cancer. Idiocracy. Social media influence and misinformation. Golden age of thinking things are bad but failing to adequately compare them to supposed better times in some other decade. Seniors running the government. They can't get jobs like normal people because they are too old, but they can run the country. Advertising. Once-in-a-lifetime crises. Ignorance. We have much information available to us, but we are stuck in our own echo chambers and confirmation biases. Myself included. An African American and AAPI, Asian American and Pacific Islanders, Renaissance. There are so many books, movies, TV shows, art, and products being created by the Black and AAPI communities today. Innovation and technology. Don't think there's been as many market-disrupting technology innovations in such a short period of time ever in history. Today's day and age is akin more to a modern renaissance than a golden age of anything. E-thoughts. Cancel culture. Ignorance. Society seems to be actively regressing where common sense and basic knowledge is concerned. It's unsettling. Hypocrisy. Misinformation and data harvesting. Deception. The golden age of thoughts and prayers. Fascism. Misinformation probably. At least in many places, I would say propaganda. Stupid conservatives. Misinformation. The internet has given everyone the sense of authority over a subject matter just because they read something on Facebook that they never even source verified. Social media? Access to information and technology. You have a miniature computer in your pocket that can search for queries, translate languages, play games/music, and find other people. You can bank with it, start groups with it, and help or hinder with it. And to cap it all off, I have seen children as young as 7 using them. Talk about the science fiction of yesteryear. Statistically, just about everything, peace, life expectancy, nutrition, democracy, wealth, or almost any other metric you could think of. Influencers. And I hate it. Information. Never before has a large majority of people been able to have such a vast wealth of knowledge and information that the internet has provided. Dungeons and Dragons. Misinformation while at the time having the most access to information. Poverty and debt. Reckless consumption. The golden age of once-in-a-lifetime events. Stupidity and ignorance. Scams. General stupidity. Collapse. Pollution, willful ignorance, squandered opportunity, endless distraction, surveillance. Is there something specific you're looking for? We are in arguably the golden age of gaslighting. Thin-skinned people. The golden age of sensitivity and feelings. It will not go the way people think it's going to go. Greed. Information. I'm from a third world country millions of miles away from the US, and get to see US drama live through the internet. Psychopaths. It's indeed the golden age of Minecraft. COVID. School shootings, I guess. The golden age of global warming. Software development. Mis/disinformation. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. William J. Casey. I don't think even Casey could have predicted how effective disinformation would be at warping the minds of everyday people. Insanity. OnlyFans. Greed and narcissism, to the point of our own imminent demise. Party on. Degeneracy. I'm too late to this party, so no one will see this, but I didn't see this when scrolling, so here it goes. Fitness and nutrition. The amount of knowledge of different training modalities and exercises, and how it all fits together, is staggering. And nutrition too, though that is far more complicated now. If you want to get healthy and fit and strong, this is a great age to do it. Depression. Television. TV shows. There is something for everyone, and what's out there can be extremely well done. Internet arguments. Definitely not AskReddit questions. Fear. It will get better, though slightly smiling face. Gullibility. Lies and manipulation. Lies, fraud, distrust. People who get offended too much about nothing. Psychological manipulation. 50 years from now, our grandchildren and great-grandchildren will ask us, what was it like to live through the stupid times? Piracy. Slaughter. Of Disney. Social media addiction. Laziness. An age gilded in silicon. Food delivery and curbside pickup. I know I'm guilty of loving both. Information. Stupidity. When information is abundant, but common sense is clearly lacking. Only time will tell. Information era, maybe, but we don't know if we have peaked yet. Doesn't look like it, since it's so unsafe. Cringe. Data collection. Reboots. Unbridled social media, golden for the companies, not consumers. Marijuana. If you told 15-year-old stoner me that in the future there would be a dispensary on nearly every block of the city where you can peruse a list of 25 different high-potency weed, I'd cry in my expensive bag of Mexican brick weed. Climate change. Nerds and geeks, so much. Technology. 3D printers make it so anyone can start making items within their own home. Anyone who is into robotics, cosplay, figurines, mechanics, etc. can do so much with one that it isn't funny. Internet anonymity was nice while it lasted. Information. Definitely information. Authoritarianism. It's the golden age of golden order. Domestic terrorism. CEO greed. Obesity, idiocy, school shootings. Tax evasion. The golden age of something means it is coming to an end, not a beginning. N.S. Price gouging. Beer. Craft beer. The internal combustion engine. Say what you will about cars, but right now we have mastered the ICE engine. The electric motor will slowly start to replace the engine, but we are witnessing the best engines that will ever be built right now. Caca, it seems. Life before climate change changed everything. I would say craft beer, we are spoiled with the variety and styles with many different notes and flavors. I'd imagine that the craft beer fad will fade and not quite as many different kinds will be offered in the future. Stupidity. There are those who truly think they know more than science, and we're all worse off for it. This vocal minority is trying to send us back to an era where information isn't readily available, where bodies are regulated, and where you trust the word of your cook neighbor over someone who spent years and years studying something. We're in the golden age of stupidity. Crypto scams and dangerous and stupid TikTok trends. Wealth inequality. The golden age of poverty. It was easier to buy a house during the Depression than it is currently. Misinformation, for as useful the internet is, it's also a great way to spread misinformation and bias. And with all the target ads and extremely specific content tailored to us that we consume, it's getting increasingly difficult to find facts. Information, almost all of the information and knowledge of humanity can be accessed by everyone. Being able to drive your own car, once self-driving takes off, it may become required to use, and human-controlled driving will be a thing of the past. Energy drinks. In 50 years we'll look back on them in the same scope as cigarettes in the early 1900s. Negativity LMAO, look at the comments or anywhere for that matter. I believe we are in the age of information. Most of the world has such a significant amount of information at their fingertips, it's beyond belief. Capitalism. What are we living in the golden age of? Self-education. YouTube should be remembered as an important of an invention as the television. We can teach ourselves almost anything, watching enough videos and reading about it online. The ease of listening to music is pretty incredible right now. Entertainment. There's so much no one could ever do, play, or watch everything there is that serves no other purpose than to entertain a person. Artistic creation. As a musician born in the early 1970s, I'm constantly astounded how cheap and easy it is to record and release high-quality music. The golden age for scammers. I'd say cleanliness when compared to past ages, but something about the golden age of showers doesn't sit right.